Aloha and welcome back to the Mailani Hawaii Mentorship LLC. And this is going to be a video about management. One of the most important core principles, core components in your artistry and also in your business. So remember, although you're an artist, you're also a businesswoman, businessman. This is your business, your image, your voice, your brand, all of the things that you do, especially now that we're living in a very viral, visual, social media type of world. Your activity, who you hang out with, just your image altogether and your daily activities will definitely affect whether or not you will have a place in this industry. Okay, so management. Let's talk about management and parental managers or momagers. The pros and cons of all of that. Okay, so quick story. When I first started out, I was very, very lucky because Keahivai had a great manager. He only took his cut for his performances, and he also was our sound engineer. So he was aware of multiple hats in our game of how we performed and how we sold music and how we toured the world sharing island music back home from Hawaii. Okay, so we're really, really lucky and blessed to have a great manager. And we didn't really have a contract with him. It was just a verbal contract. But in the state of Hawaii, verbal contracts are still binding. However, even with that tiny fact, I encourage all of our artists to have a contract with their managers, okay? It normally takes an artist about a good 5 years to finally have your name be recognized in the industry. Okay, so that's hustling for 5 years. It's a long time, right? You guys must think, oh man, I gotta work hard every single day for 5 years. Well, you're gonna work hard every single day until you die, okay? You just are, so get used to it. But being an artist and you're starting from the ground up, nobody knows you, nobody knows your name, nobody knows the sound of your voice or your music or just, your stage name. Yeah, 5 years is really not much if you think about it. There's people who have had very high highs and very low lows in this game. For example, Robert Downey Jr., he was a huge star in his early 20s and 30s. But in his 30s, he, along with many other talented artists and singers, they fell prone to drug abuse. And he was also in prison. He lost parental rights to his son. And this is all true when it comes to Robert Downey Jr. But he had a huge comeback with, of course, Marvel Comics, the Iron Man. And he's done very, very well for himself. I mean, his interviews are stellar. He's very witty and just smart. And he is the kind of guy that you want to pay attention to because he's just different, right? But he's someone who was like at the top of the mountain, slid all the way down to the land of Milu, and then rose all the way back on top of the mountain peak again. And he's been able to stave away any type of substance abuse, like what he used to be privy to back in his 30s. Okay, so that's just a huge example. But getting back to management, this is a role that belongs to someone who will fight for you, will protect you, and will get you paid. Okay, the role of the manager is pretty much that in a nutshell. Someone who's going to protect you at all costs, fight for you at all costs, and make sure that before you take the stage, you're going to get paid. Okay, so sometimes in contracts, if you're booked out for something, and this happens most of the time for music or even for comedians, people who have a stage that in order to lock down their date, most of the time a promoter will have to pay the manager a half down, okay? Because that at least will get that date that they want you for confirmed on the books. It's very, very important. So sometimes that means, and it also requires money down. So that's what a half down is. So if your fee is $1,000, $1,500, if you're starting at the low one, it's $500. Sometimes you may want to impose a half down fee, okay? And all it simply does is it locks down and confirms your commitment to being there on October 31st, Halloween of all times, okay? Getting back to holidays or certain times of the year, if it's Christmas or New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving, or even Halloween, whatever it is. If it's a holiday that an event would like to book you for, your pay grade will rise because it's a holiday. So just like mom and dad, I'm sure they get holiday pay. If they're working on Christmas Eve, they're getting holiday pay. If they have to come in on Memorial Day or a day off, that's holiday pay. Okay. So as an artist, again, I'm going to repeat this. If you're getting booked for a very special event such as that, your pay grade will rise. So if you're typically charging $1,000 per hour, then you can impose like an extra $200. Like, okay, it's Christmas, so instead of $1,000, we're going to charge $1,200, or we're going to charge $1,500. Okay, and these are things as a manager you're going to have to do. Managers are also great at negotiations. Okay, it's very important to have a strong negotiator on your team. Now, you guys are just starting out, and so are your parents. So depending on the type of personality you and or your parent and or your manager has, negotiations, or having the power to negotiate, or understanding what negotiating is also another core component that needs to be a part of that person's thinking and mindset. Yes, we're living in Hawaii and we are part of the Aloha state and the Aloha spirit, but at the end of the day, this is still business. People are still going to be making money off of you, or off of having you appear or perform at their event. And so that's something that your manager needs to be able to really dominate in, is having the power to negotiate. There's a lot of free information out there for people who are not great at negotiating. You can listen to podcasts about negotiation. You can look up videos on YouTube about negotiating tactics. You can buy books on becoming a stronger negotiator. Okay, so if that's something that you're weak in, that you're not very strong in, then I would suggest for your manager to game up in the arena of being a powerful negotiator. Okay. These things also will improve skill-wise for yourselves in time, especially if you start working. Like if you take on a job at 16 or 14 or 15 and you're doing retail work, or you're doing sales, it's a great way to improve your skills on negotiating. Okay. Simple thing that you'll see take place at the swap meet. You always see Auntie so-and-so selling a 2-for-1, or having a 2-for-1 special. You buy 2, you get the price for 1, or you buy 3, you get the price for 2. Okay. Bath and Body Works uses it all the time for their soaps. Buy 3, get 1 free, right? So what do? You end up buying 4, or you end up buying 6, when really you just went into the store to buy 1 or 2 soaps, right? So this happens all the time in the world of sales. But that's like a real basic, on the surface type of analogy I'm giving you folks right now. Some managers feel that they are like a glorified garut, and I don't really believe in that. Still working. Sorry. Okay. Glorified garut. Garut meaning like glorified slave, because the work that it takes to manage someone is it's just like colossal. It's mega. It's so much work for very little pay. It's so much work for very little pay in the very, very beginnings of an artist. This is just so true, because you're starting to push the train when there's no momentum. But what happens is, after a while, the train can move on its own. That's why when you have momentum like that, the trick is to not stop, because if you stop, then it takes even more energy to get the train moving again. It takes twice, sometimes 3 times the amount of energy as you initially used up to push the train for the first time is now you have to do for the second or third time. Okay. Law of physics. It's just the way it is. And that's how life works every single time. Okay. But the goal is your goal, whatever your goal may be, whatever you want to define your goals or your dreams to be, that's what your manager is doing all of this work for. Okay. So your manager, he or she needs to be able to be the one point of contact. Okay. We live in Hawaii. So oftentimes people will want to contact you instead of the manager. They'll text you, they'll call you. It happens to me still to this day, even though everybody knows Kawai's my manager. They'll text me, they'll call me, they'll ask me for a freebie. They're asking me if I can just come to this party. Oh, please come to this party. It's a baby party. It's this, that. Can you just do one song? Oftentimes, if I really, really know this person, I will try to come to enjoy a little bit. And yeah, maybe I will sing a song. But if I don't really know this person or this family, then that to me, I see as an inquiry. Someone is inquiring for me to come and perform, to entertain their guests, okay? But what happens is you see that the ice is paid for, the catering is paid for, all of these expensive centerpieces are paid for. The bar it's open bar, so people are drinking for free. So people are drinking and eating and enjoying for free, but the family is paying for all of this free entertainment and enjoyment for their guests. But the one thing that's missing is the budget for the musician, and that's not cool to me at all. You'll see them pay for the sound system. So here's a sound guy who comes and he brings his equipment in for the artist to sing and perform off of, but the artist isn't getting paid. That just doesn't seem right to me at all. And for me, it comes down to principality. Okay. So when those things happen, that's what your manager is for. Your manager is supposed to sail in and pretty much rescue from inquiries such as those. And some people might say that you're too high maka maka, or you don't have any aloha because you're not willing to do this. But when things like that happen and people kind of want to hate on you, you just have to stand firm in the belief that you're providing value. You're making sure that this person's party is an entertaining party and something that everyone will enjoy and go home and talk about and say, oh, so-and-so's party was so fun. She sang this and this and this, all my favorite songs. It made me dance hula, and it made the family just enjoy ourselves. Just like the food, just like the entertainment. And also what will happen is maybe the family or the inquiry will want you to come and play for free, but right after that they have Kapena playing, or Fiji, or some really big artists that, guess what? They got paid. So the manager is a very important part of your game plan. So you need to, as an artist, choose a manager very wisely, because you're going to be taking this journey with that manager for some time. Okay. Some people keep the very same manager forever and ever and ever. I've been blessed to have a number of managers and understand their world of managing somebody like me through their eyes. And they've gotten to, like, vice versa, understand what it's like for me to be an artist, to get up there and sing and perform and throw it down for an hour, and how I'm supposed to be able to respond to an audience and still promote my projects and my work, and then keep working and working and working so everybody can get paid and everyone's happy. Okay. So typically a manager will take about 15% of your pay. So if you get paid $1,000, 15% of that is what? $150. Okay. Don't forget about your taxes. If you have musicians, you're going to have to pay your musicians. If you have a hair and makeup person, you're going to have to pay your hair and makeup person. But be mindful of your expenses, your costs. The manager, though, is one of your most important costs that you're ever going to have to make. Okay. 15%, 25%, 30%. I would suggest not to go over 30%, depending on the kind of manager you have. Okay. Not only is your manager supposed to get you paid, but your manager is supposed to find you work. That's the other part of your manager's job. So mom and dad, if you guys are considering managing your kids, I would say, hey, good, because I know that no one's going to look out for your kid better than you are. But at the same time, be also mindful of how that's going to affect your familial, parental relationship with your child. It's going to change. Your child's not going to just be mommy and daddy anymore. This child of yours is now going to become a product, an item almost. And it's like Selena, Selena Quintanilla. You're going to be the dad that drives the bus. You're going to be the dad that makes the hard calls. You're going to have to fire musicians if they come to the performance drunk. You're going to have to make some really hard calls all the time. And like being a parent is 24/7, being a manager is 24/7 too. If you get a call coming in from Japan, they are a day ahead, but 5 hours behind. You're going to have to be up at 2 a.m. possibly when deals are being made. So these are things that I would suggest you guys to start thinking about, because even though we're only in tier 2 and we're not finished with the Mailani Hawaii mentorship, we still have tier 3 coming up in a few months. I expect every single one of you folks to be able to already be submitting your names in for competitions that are around Hawaii, throughout Hawaii, even through the other islands year round. You should be doing that by now. Whether it's the Keiki Hawaii Stars, or if you're older than the age of 18, it's Hawaii Stars. If it's Brown Bags to Stardom. Like, be mindful and pay attention to different contests that take place in your community, in your neighborhood, and like the who's who and what they are promoting. In Kaneohe, there was just a karaoke contest, and the purse was $500 cash. So that's a way of making money, right? And also getting your game on, getting some experience of being on stage, and then also promoting yourself with your family and friends so that people can come to your contest and cheer as loud and louder than anyone else, so that you end up being the winner. That's what happens most of the time in these kind of contests. It's a popularity contest, and whoever cheers the loudest. But that's at a base run, okay? Let's see. When I mentioned protection, and this happens a lot too, your manager has to protect your image as well, and your social media. So everything that you are posting, be it your Snapchat, be it your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anything and everything that you're ever posting, your manager should at least be mindful, or at least be in the know of what it is that you're posting and promoting, because that's going to affect your image and your brand right away. When you're starting out, if your image or if your brand is about being cute and creating these really cute songs and these really cute jingles, then you have to be cute. You can't be pilau. You can't be a bully. I don't even support bullying at all anyways, but basically you can't appear to be anything other than what your brand is. And that's every time, every day you're on a cell phone or you're posting anything, and anytime you are out the door, out your front door, okay? In school, at athletic events, at games, hanging out with friends. And that's another thing, because when you're hanging out with friends, your friends are going to want to post things. And so be mindful of how positive or how impactful those posts are. Anytime you're on a post, even if it's not coming from your own page or your own account, you have to be mindful of how you're coming across publicly throughout the world. Okay. Also, your nutrition. The manager has to be very mindful and protective of your nutrition. Okay. Are you getting enough exercise? Are you getting enough sleep and rest? Are you eating well? These are things that parents of stars invest in. They invest a lot of money in making sure their kids have trainers or a chef, making sure that their kid is a star. So you kids are in training of becoming a star, but you should already be in training, which is you should be exercising. You should be eating right. You should be singing and doing your vocal exercises that I've taught you every single day for at least 20 minutes. These are things you should be doing every day. And if you're not doing it, that is your prerogative. But it comes down to, what is it that you really want? Do you want to be a star? Because I can show you the stories of all the stars I've ever met or have seen and have observed, and let you know how rigorous their schedules are. But they have managers that make sure, okay, they let them know, hey, Demi Lovato, you're going to be up from 8 a.m. because we're going to start with our workout. Then at 10 a.m. we have interviews. You also have a press junket from 12 to 4. And after that, we have a quick dinner meeting. I mean, these stars, they don't rest enough, I think, but they know their limits. And so right now, you kids have to be mindful of being very healthy, because being an artist is demanding. I have to jump back into the studio and write a whole nother album. That's my job. And I have to make sure that it's good, not just crap to fill up the airways. No, it has to be good. It has to be better than my last. And you're always besting yourself over and over again. And that's what evolution is. Okay. If you need to hire a trainer, hire a trainer. Hire a trainer for 10 sessions. and then get the ball rolling where you can start to take these exercises off on your own. Okay, but you're no longer average anymore, kids. You guys are in my mentorship, and that means that you're above average because you're doubling down on your skills. You're investing in your future. And at some point in time, you're going to be the star on the movie screen that I will be in the theater, like crying my eyes out because I helped that happen for you in some form or fashion. But start to take this seriously. Okay, we missed a few classes where we had classes in the flesh where I was right in front of you, but you can learn just like this. There's no difference where I'm telling you the same information. It's really up to you and how you're going to take this information and act on it. Okay? Moms and dads, when it comes to management, if you feel that you don't want to take on management and you don't want to take on the bookkeeping, because that's also very, very important, making sure everyone gets paid on time, making sure your child gets paid, you don't have to be the manager. You can find an agent, or you can find a manager, someone that will make sure that your child star is working enough to a point where you see the benefits of someone else managing your kid. Okay? But remember, as parents, no one is going to look out for your child more than you are. And as parents, no one's going to have their better interests than you. And some managers, they have multiple artists to manage. So where does your child really fit in the mix of, getting work? If a manager or if an agent or agency has 100 kids to manage or 100 kids to throw a bone to, right? Okay, so in short, I think that this is a very needed link, a very needed video to send you folks, because I don't think enough people pay attention to their manager. Okay, sometimes managers can be our best friends, and sometimes managers can not be our friends at all. They can just be a straight up manager. An inquiry comes in, they get the call, they're the one point of contact, and they call you with the information. Hey, Mailani, there's a $1,500 opportunity on this date and this date from this time to this time. Do you want to take it? It's a double, it's a trio. You have to have this, you have to have hula. So at the end, this is what your take home pay will be. Will you take it? And as an artist, you're going to have to make up your mind or your decision, because sometimes that means you're going to have to cancel things that you really, really wanted to go to. Maybe you had a trip to Las Vegas that you really, really wanted to do, but hey, this is a payment opportunity, and now you're going to have to cancel things like that, and you'll still be making money, even if it takes money off the table in terms of your trip. Or maybe it's some family time. I can't even tell you how many birthdays or funerals or family parties that I've missed, that it may have hurt some of my brothers and sisters' feelings because I wasn't there for them, and I love them so much because I wasn't there at my nephew's party, or I wasn't there at someone's husband's, retirement or promotional party. And I would hurt too. But at the same time, I understand because my brothers and sisters have jobs. And so when they have to work, they have to work. So I'm just sharing that with each and every one of you, because your friends and your family should not just see you as, oh, that's just so-and-so. No, they need to see you as a star. And if they don't understand that and they're not supportive of you having to cancel things, then they just really do not have a clue as to who you are and who you are going to become. And that's how I feel every time I have to cancel something that may hurt someone's feelings, or maybe it upsets them and makes them mad. I feel like, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I really love you guys, but this is my job. This is my work. And I am a 24/7, 365 entrepreneur. So when work comes in, I don't have the ability to say no. It's yes. My job is to say yes. If the pay is there, my job is to say yes, I'll be there. Okay? So that's management in a nutshell. You folks can always reach out to me and my team at any time should anything arise or come up. We're here for you. Send an email, send a text message to the people who are special enough to have my number, and we'll make sure that we'll be in contact, and we'll help you out with your scenarios, with your situations in life when different things come up, because different things will come up. All right? You You guys take care. That's the Mailani Hawaii Mentorship LLC. You guys take care and God bless. Aloha.